Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, here's a simple, straightforward, and fastest way to wake up to the plain sight truth or to see the true nature of oneself. And this simple approach comes with the three steps. One, witnessing oneself, turning the awareness back to oneself. Number two, dismantling the mind. Number three, asking yourself, who am I? These are the three steps you need to wake up. Nothing more. You don't have to believe on these steps. You don't have to take my words. But give that a go. Try it. If nothing is working to dissolve the inner conflict and fear in your life, it's not helping you to see the truth, then just try it. Try applying this simple approach. If you have been part of the meditation, definitely you are practicing the number one point, which is witnessing yourself. You are turning the awareness back to yourself. That is happening. Now, turning the awareness back to yourself is the first inward journey. You're stepping back from the world and watching yourself. Is the superficial inward journey. And if you are stuck there, what's the next approach? What's the next step here? Is dismantling. Or you can ask yourself, who am I? To start with. After being aware, you ask yourself, who am I? Now, let me explain a little further here. You got to witness yourself. Why? Because the truth is within you. Or you are the truth. So, you are the truth, truth is within you, but you haven't seen what is true in you, the unchanging truth in you. Now, to face towards the truth is the first step, witnessing yourself, being self aware, observing oneself, witnessing oneself. They are the same thing. So, turning the awareness back to yourself is the first step. Now, then you can start with asking yourself, who am I? The who am I is in the beginning and also at the end to make that final click to see the truth. So in the beginning, when you ask who am I, the who am I will help you to see the layers, the identification in you, the things that you're attached to. All sorts of layers can be seen with this simple inquiry, who am I? And if you stay with the who am I inquiry, you will move from the gross level identification to the subtlest. And at one point, you will realize that whatever you have become so far, whatever you see using the who am I inquiry, they are not helping you to eliminate your fear from your life. Those layers are not helping you to be free. Those identification is not helping you to see the truth. Now, coming to this point with the who am I inquiry will make you interest to deepen your work, to figure out the truth. So, once you see the layers, then there is openness. Okay, I don't know who I am, whatever I know is not working to make myself free, but I want to know, I want to see who I am. Now, that's the fire we need in the spiritual journey, the urgency to realize the truth. And then the next step is dismantling the mind, dismantling one's ingrained belief or preference. Everybody has certain preference, certain belief, and deconstructing or dismantling one's belief is by tracing the belief backward. Now, the belief itself is identification too. And our life is happening from that ingrained belief. When we are ingrained in a certain belief or preference, life is happening automatically because of the conditioning, because of the ingrained pattern. And now, one must need to dismantle one's own belief or undo the conditioning because it's not working. No matter what conditioning we are ingraining in, no matter what belief we are holding on to, it's not helping us to be free from the fear. The attachment to certain belief, conditioning oneself to the certain belief or pattern itself is a sign of fear. Attachment is a sign of fear. So we need to work on undoing the conditioning, undoing the belief. Now, there's nothing wrong with the belief. The belief is, certain belief is healthy in the relative world, in the functioning world. But when it comes to spiritual awakening, that belief itself is the mountain that is blocking you not to see what's on the other side of the mountain. It's the wall. You need to bring the wall down. So the belief is the limitation. Belief itself is a struggle. The reason to have the belief is to maintain certain flow in life. To avoid what? To avoid struggle, to avoid pain. Isn't it? To maintain the comfort, to maintain the fun. And a spiritual awakening, to see one's true face, which is the faceless face, to get there, one must let go everything. We have to disengage from the physical world. We have to disengage from the mind, emotion. We have to investigate. So, from your own experience, you know that listening to the mind is not the solution. There's no solution in the mind. What the solution we get from the mind is false. Yes, that false can be work in the relative physical world, but it doesn't work, especially when it comes to spiritual journey. The mind itself is a false. Mind is false because the mind comes from the place of experience. All mind, all ideas in you is experience, isn't it? You go through the experience, and from the experience you are collecting those ideas. So it's a byproduct of the experience. And the mind is always changing. The emotion is always changing. So to get to the truth, we must go through the changing world by investigating the mind. to see whether the mind is true or not. Once we see the nature of the mind, how it comes into existence and how it becomes real, once we see that process, then the mind starts to loosen in oneself. The ego starts to loosen in oneself. And this is the major step in awakening to the truth, to see one's own true nature. So that's why the dismantling, deconstructing the mind is needed. And once you deconstruct the mind enough, once you become thorough, that dismantling work prepares you to come to face the truth, to face the truth. And that's where you need to ask yourself, who am I? See, the who am I was in the beginning, after being self-aware, and at the end. And if you have done enough work, dismantling work, deconstructing the work, deconstructing the mind work, then it will work. Who am I inquiry will make you the final click to see the plain sight truth. But if you're not able to see the truth, that indicates that you are not being thorough in dismantling the mind. You're not dismantling the mind all the way. You're not dismantling your belief all the way. You're not dismantling your attachment all the way. You're not dismantling your fear all the way to no mind. When you dismantle your belief, it leads you why you hold on to the belief. The root cause of holding on to the belief. When you see the root, you must dismantle the root as well. You have to let go of the root. That's where the friction starts to resurface. The fight happens because of the ego. Ego wants to hold on to the belief because the belief itself is a comfort, fun, it's basically it's entertaining the ego. And when you realize that you have to let go of the ego, that's where the ego fights to hold on to. That means you are holding on to the belief because you don't want to lose the fun. You don't want to lose the comfort. And this is the break or make point. You're scared, you want to hold on to. That keeps you in the realm of struggle, pain. Yes, there's a fun, but there's a struggle, there's a suffering. And the next step here is staying in the inquiry journey and dismantling the fear. There's a fear of letting go. Now you're inquiring your fear. Why am I scared? Why do I have this fear of letting go? And that it will lead you further in to dismantle the mind. Fear is basically the byproduct of the mind. Tracing the fear means tracing the mind, and that will help you to get to know mind. And basically you have to work on the friction that you go through in life. You have to investigate the ideas that you listen to, and you go with the idea. So basically, the major part of the the major part of this spiritual enlightenment journey is tracing the idea backward, tracing the mind backward. So after being thorough of your mind, still you're not there yet. And every day there's something will resurface in you. You listen to the idea. You know that the idea is, after being thorough of your mind, you know that idea is not true, but you still listen to the mind. And then you have to investigate your mind. And that keeps you in the momentum to be in the inward journey, to be thorough of the subtle mind, which is the emotion. And 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 that part is the steps to see the truth. Prepares you to see the truth. And once you become thorough, when you ask yourself, who am I? That's where the true shift happens, because you see the truth. You realize that the ego cannot comprehend the truth. And that's where the complete ease comes in the person. The heavy burden just drops. The seeking inward stops. When you see the truth, that is the end of the seeking. When you see the inner truth, that's the end of the spiritual journey. You anchor in that. You become that. You are that in the first place. Through the experience, you have forgotten who you are. But once you see the truth, you are that. You are the consciousness, conscious being. And life unfolds from there. So there's no more inward seeking. No more inward seeking. That's why the spiritual journey ends in the spiritual path. Okay? It ends. You have heard this idea as destination in the spiritual journey. Yes, there's a destination. What is the destination? Truth is the destination. Once you see the truth, there's no more seeking. Seeking ceases itself. And then the living starts with ease, without inner conflict, without the fear. And that's the life you have always looking for, isn't it? Living life without inner conflict, living life without the fear, living life without drama. And that is true living, authentic living. And this is not a positive living. When you see the truth, after truth, it's not the positive living. Living life as it is. Positivity is a mental layer, meaning. You don't need the meaning to live a life. To live life, you need awareness, and you are that. And using the awareness to see what's happening in this environment, and just moving with the environment without fighting with the environment. That's outward living, relative journey. Okay, I hope this video makes sense to you. I hope this is a help. Again, waking up to the inner truth, to see one's true nature. What you need is witnessing oneself. Okay, witnessing oneself. Then dismantling the mind. Then asking yourself, who am I? The who am I will come in the beginning and at the end, to create that ultimate shift while you're living. So that's all you need. And by the way, this enlightenment journey won't take that long. Won't take that long. You can wake up to the truth of who you are less than 2 years. If you do the work, if you're sincere in dismantling the mind, it won't take that long. So if you have been if you have been part of the spiritual journey for decades and decades, that is the sign that what you're doing is not working. Is not working. So if you realize it's not working to be free, why don't you try self-inquiry? There's nothing to lose. It's free. It's free. I'm sharing you the free steps, the workable steps to see yourself. Okay? Anyway, that's all in this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care for now.